Hey, movie dopers, we are back with another movie review, one suggested by the gentleman, Brad. Uh, yeah, you want to take it from here?
Sure.
Okay.
The movie I suggested was The
All right.
Harder They
See you
Fall.
guys. See you.
See you.
Sorry.
Bye. See you. Okay. Bye.
No, sorry.
The movie that I suggested was The Harder They Fall.
Mhm.
A James Samuel, his first featured length film that he directed. Starring Idris Elba, Jonathan Majors, ZZ Beats, Regina King. I mean, just a ton of actors and
Um,
actresses. Um, Overall, it's a Western movie. Um, yeah, I mean it's a pretty good movie. It's on Netflix
yeah,
original.
it when it started, it gave me a little bit of Tarantino vibes, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is."
Yeah, it definitely did. Definitely does give you some of the Tarantino vibes, some of the shots and the angles, especially the ones that make Idris Elba look bigger.
little flourishes and stuff, but for my money, better than Django. It's the closest one to one, and yeah, hands down. This is kind of let me see. How would I describe this? Well, I don't know. How would you describe it? Non-spoiler for our non-spoiler review.
um, so Western esque kind of movie. I mean,
Mhm.
it's set in the West. It's set in, but Western esque. I guess the characters that they portray are real character or real people or were real people, but not in the sense that they used them for. Um, so
Yeah, it's kind of like the director went and played with a bunch of toys of the real of people who really existed, uh majoritively African American people who existed back then, and then was like, this is my playtime.
I
uh
mean, I would say it did pretty good.
eh,
He did two short films. I guess this guy's also the director is also a musician from British musician,
that
British songwriter. So
makes a lot of sense considering the score or whatnot, the
yeah,
jukebox
yeah.
songs. um yeah, this is cool. I was just gonna say something, but I forgot. uh
uh, the movie definitely tries to be funny in parts. It definitely has kind of its quips.
hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, without getting too spoilery, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, this was a very good Western movie. There's a lot of times where I can get really bored with Westerns if they go and just take way too much time with it. I will say, since we mentioned Quentin Tarantino, we're not getting any 20-minute conversations about well, she did give the horse a foot rub, so um and she oiled the saddle, and a whole discussion of whether she should, nothing like that. But yeah, this was not what I expected. The only thing I knew about it was that I'd seen Idris Elba in the posters or whatever while on Netflix, and then saw a an Idris Elba poster and a Lakeith Stanfield poster.
Okay.
Nothing else. So I thought Idris, especially since he has another Netflix movie called Concrete Cowboy, which I haven't seen yet. I thought he was going to be the lead. And oh, actually, the movie. You know what really made me feel like it was Quentin Tarantino esque? The first 5 minutes felt like the first 20 minutes of Inglorious Bastards,
Oh,
except
okay.
with like nearly almost no dialogue, like that tension and that oh shit.
And that was
And
not you trying to poop, right? I was confused.
oh, I multitask.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can do two things at once. um, but yeah, like wow, what a stunning film. There were like 5 minutes in the middle of it where it was like, I feel like it's dragging, and then that never happened again. Um, I'd
Yeah.
I'd recommend the hell out of this. This
Yeah.
and the 310 to Yuma remake by James Mangold, and no, Hell or High Water are my three favorite westerns.
Okay. Hell and High Water I have not seen. I need
Mm.
to see that. I also want to see they just redid or made a 4K version of The Last Train to Gun Hill starring oh man, somebody's father. Forgot who it was. But yeah, actually I saw this movie or I saw a trailer for this movie when I went to see No Time to Die. So
Hey.
Netflix made it all the way out to the movie theater despite them not being in the movie theater.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a video someday of Netflix needs to start making like members only clubs with like screening rooms, and anyone with a Netflix subscription could come in and buy merch and all this stuff. But yeah,
So
anything else you want to say about the no spoiler section? And it sounds
sure.
like
The last train to Gun Hill stars Kurt Douglas
I
in 1959 or something like that.
oh, the original.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Never heard of it before.
Yeah. They just did a new 4K release of it, so I wanted to see it. I wanted to pick it up. And it's in a steel book.
I was just gonna ask the most important question. Yeah, anything else? What it's funny because since you recommended it, I expect you to come in like, oh my fucking god. But it seems, tell me if I'm reading this wrong, it seems like you didn't enjoy it as much as I did.
Oh no, I definitely enjoyed it. I
Okay.
don't know if I enjoyed it more or less than you, and we'll figure that out here in a couple of minutes. But no, I definitely enjoy this movie. I definitely would recommend this movie. I've already recommended this movie to you, to my parents, um, my stepdad, who's more of like a John Wick kind of guy, John Wick sci-fi kind of guy. So I mean, he definitely liked this movie.
Yeah.
So I've already kind of pushed it a little bit, pushed it farther than I probably would have thought.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, the trailer looked good, and I said something to my wife when we were watching No Time to Die, saying, "Yeah, I want to see that movie." And then I saw it was on Netflix or a Netflix original, and I was like, oh, "Okay, yeah, I'll sit down and give it a watch." And it was just kind of one of those like, "Yeah, we'll sit down and watch it," because I wanted to see it, but not wasn't like, "Oh, I'm seeking this out to go find it." It was more like we were running across Netflix and found it, and we watched it. And I was like, "Oh wow, this is really good."
Yeah. While we're in the notes spoiler section that we're soon to leave, yeah, please everybody search this shit out, because if you don't, we won't get the sequel that he wants to make.
He definitely left it for a sequel.
Yeah.
Without spoiling it, there's definitely a room for a sequel.
Yeah. Which is funny because it was literally just the exact last shot that I was like, if there wasn't that last shot, I would
Yeah,
not have expected any possibility of a sequel because it felt pretty complete. I mean,
it's definitely a complete movie that I'm not going to say it's ambiguous ending or anything like that, like Blade Runner 2049 or anything like that. It's a wrapped up, full, complete period movie,
yeah,
but there's a room at the end for a next one.
yeah. And he wants to make it. He's explicitly said like essentially
I'm all
hell
for it.
yes. But I feel like this has gone way too under the radar. If Six Underground, which was at the time the record holder for like first week or first month views on Netflix, doesn't like can't get a sequel, you know, which
Netflix is kind of
knowing
stingy with some of that
Netflix,
stuff, though.
I was gonna say knowing Netflix is probably like they were like, yeah, it broke records in its first week, and then no one ever watched it again. So
Well,
it's not like they want repeat viewings and stuff, I'm sure, more than just big quote unquote open like box office numbers. You know, I know that's
yeah,
not a perfect analogy,
and
but
and then you've got like something like Red Notice. I
what
mean,
have you
that
seen
is
that? I
I've
haven't seen it.
not. I saw a trailer for it after I finished The Harder They Fall, and I mean, it still looks funny.
I kind of want to see it, but then I'm like, I'm not. Maybe it can wait, and also I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
sure if we had coordinated it to release our review like the Monday after it came out, I'm sure I would have been like, yeah, it's fine. Everyone's seen it, so
Yeah, it's not
but
worth
it's
reviewing.
but it's fine. So it would seem really weird to be like, okay, we're supposed to be talking about underappreciated films, and this isn't even a mushroom.
although
Why?
some of those jokes in the trailer, I mean, some
The
of those jokes
one
in the trailer hit
I never.
when he tells The Rock to lift with his neck, not his back.
Oh, I never saw the trailer. I
Oh yeah.
I only saw the that one tweet of the Vin Diesel joke. Hey Maddie, can you do me a favor and come here? Sorry, I saw the angle of my door mirror is at angle, so I don't want to keeping at Maddie every time she. Can you just flatten the door against the wall, please? Thank you. Love you. She's playing Among Us on my iPad phone.
The iPad phone.
Yes. And for everyone listening, I made an iPad mini into a full-fledged phone. Suck it. Wait, no, I missed one thing that I thought of but did not say. To the person who paid $86,000 on eBay to get an iPhone with USB-C port, I did it for not 86,000. And then to quote Psych, hello Ryan, I know you're listening. Suck it. Nope. The first delivery was the accurate Psych reference. Anyway, let's get to our ratings. What's your rating, sir?
I'm going edible. I'm going edible. I think this movie fires on all cylinders. I think this is a really underappreciated movie, and I think once more people start watching this movie, or hopefully more people watch this movie, come across on Netflix, that they tune into it, and we do get that sequel because I think it deserves it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna go mushroomy edible because it was woo woo good on you. Like the direction was amazing. There were moments that surprised me that we'll get into in the spoiler section. If anyone wants to see my silly reactions, that'll be linked down below. I'll be uploading it
I'm kind of
in the
interested
next few weeks.
because that first couple of minutes, I forgot how those first couple of minutes went, and I was like, "Ooh, I kind of actually want to see a reaction to this," because you're kind of going into this pretty blind,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden,
100%.
wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and I would love to see a reaction to that.
Oh, I love it because I put the first 10 minutes of my reactions on my old Superview channel, and I love how much was packed in the first time. I always feel bad when it's like a Blade Runner 2049 where like 10 minutes pass and like maybe the credits have finished.
Yeah, or like Bond movie when you get like the cold opening, which is typically pretty good, and then you get like 5 minutes of a song, and you're just like, well, that was a 3 minute opening. You're welcome for 10 minutes of me sitting here watching the credits.
Yeah. But this one, like, whoo, it packed so much into it. The first thing I'm gonna say in the spoilers is what I wanna what is what I'm holding back because I don't wanna queue anyone up. But there's no affiliate link below because it's Netflix. So if you want to watch it, go
But
over to Netflix.
if they do come out with a DVD for this or a Blu-ray 4K, I'm 100% in.
And I would be shocked. Netflix, its whole business model, it's like HBO when they were doing Game of Thrones, except indefinitely. You know what I mean? Like HBO would have the new season of Game of Thrones on exclusively for 6 months, and then they would do a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
That was a
I'm
waste of
I'm
words.
I'm in if they do it. I definitely want to add this to my collection.
I could see them selling like replicas, you know?
Or there's other companies that are out there like Arrow and stuff like that that do repurpose movies once they're contracts expire or whatever, they become like public domain or whatever, they lose their rights.
Gotcha.
Then they do other releases.
I wonder how that factors into Netflix originals, but
I'm sure there's got to be a time limit of, I'm sure there's loopholes in there.
hmm. I
I'm
mean,
I'm gonna I'm an armchair lawyer.
I would. All I'll say is I wouldn't be shocked if 70 years from now it's still only on Netflix.
I would be
Um,
upset
hey, I don't expect Ted Lasso to ever get a box set.
if Ted Lasso doesn't get a box set. I would be equally upset.
Yeah, I don't expect it because Apple knows that I'll pay that $60 a year to just keep watching Ted Lasso. They're like if they come out tomorrow or after season 3 and they're like, here's a steel book box set for $200, I'll be like, you're saving me money. Especially if it comes with digital copy codes
And extras and bonus
yeah.
features,
Yep.
deleted scenes. Oh man, it'd be over. It would be over quick.
Man, what I would do, like, I remember Irishman, I think, had the commentary track, or some Netflix original, only one I ever saw. No, it was House of Cards, had some commentary tracks with David Fincher, I think, and the other directors. And man, I would love for there to be a commentary track for this movie. But all right, we did our ratings. Okay, let's get into spoilers. Also, if anyone joins the Patreon, come over to Discord. Let's gush about this movie. All right.
Like we may have already been doing.
All right. Spoilers done. The moment that if you do watch my reaction, I think is the best or the most entertaining part is when the rifle guy and the woman who had dressed up as a man, who, yeah, the quick draw guy was the only one to not know that was a woman, because I was like, those are Taraji's eyes. I know that's not Taraji, but those are Taraji's eyes.
And then he was like low key, I thought she was a dude. Yeah. Don't tell me you guys didn't think otherwise. And he kind of like looked around. Yeah. He was like, no, we all knew.
It was the moment when they were in the saloon or something, and it started having kind of close-ups, and I just went, I'm kind of getting nervous for that. And then the douchebag quick draw comes out and shoots the sniper guy in the back. So do you remember that part? What right before she kills him? No, it's near the end, right before
okay.
Taraji, I don't know her name. Taraji Eyes kills Lakeith Stanfield's character.
Yes. Okay.
And she's like, the other guy was quicker. Right before
Cherokee Bill.
Yes, right before Cherokee Bill kills the sniper guy, and then he gets killed himself. Am I saying this in a way that?
No, I understand. I understand. It's the end. It's the end sequence. The end gunfights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was right before. Do you remember the last person Cherokee Bill kills before he dies?
Yes. He shoots him right in the back because he just comes around the corner.
Yeah. That it was when he shot him. 3 seconds before he shot him, I said, I'm starting to get nervous about it was like the perfect timing. It was kind of like that clip that I showed you that you had seen yesterday already, where Michael holds it up, gets the big grin on his face, and then completely destroys the cake.
It slips out of his hand, destroys the cake.
All right, but what do you think about the film? I already said something very, 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 very spoilery. So
yeah, no, I mean, I liked how they kind of set everything up, for the turn at the end. That's kind of whatever. I mean, the turn at the end is whatever to me. Because I didn't take it the first time I watched it, I really didn't take it seriously, and I'm pretty sure I asked my wife. I was like, so was he joking? Was he not joking? But then watching it a second time, like with him specifically not shooting him despite having a gun in his hand, Idris Elba, was his name Rufus Buck or something Buck?
Yeah.
Having a gun in his hand, and in fact shooting the floor next to him, made me realize no, he was actually serious.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it
fuck
was definitely interesting.
yeah, this movie was interesting for me because moments like that or a couple other moments, I guessed like 2 seconds before it was revealed, which is my favorite. Like I'll love a twist that I didn't see coming, but I love the little roller coaster when right before they reveal it, I'm like, oh shit, is he? Huh, he is. um, so yeah, I didn't doubt it for a second. I was like, oh no, he's talking about his father, and then his oh fuck, fuck, fuck,
Yeah,
fuck, fuck, fuck. And
it
then
starts to, the pieces start falling into place, and you're like,
yeah.
no, no, back up, I don't want this.
I didn't see it for a second. I didn't see it coming for a
But
second.
it makes the whole beginning make sense.
Mhm.
You know, like I said, I thought he was kind of playing with them or whatever the first time I watched the movie, and now watching it the second time, like picking up on some of those subtle cues. In fact, he had a lot of times that he could have killed him, and he chose not to. He beat him. He
Ooh.
had him tied up. He had him tied up in the thing. He was just had the one guy punching him in the abs. He could have easily killed him then. Him and his the Mary, the tavern owner, the saloon owner,
Yeah,
his
maybe
soon to be wife.
maybe I didn't see that as a clue on a first watch because he didn't kill her. You know what I
No,
mean?
but he had the
So
he definitely had the opportunity to kill him, and it would have solved all of his problems.
yeah.
And then he had other times when he's standing up in the up, kind of watching the gunfights all happen. He could have easily started taking a couple shots at him if he wanted to. I mean, in fact, he let him walk all the way into the same room he's in. You know, sitting in a corner drinking with himself.
Yeah, and some now that you're talking about it in this light, something that I thought was just like a quirk of his, I'm now realizing was specifically only for his brother, the cutting into the guy's head.
Yeah,
Like,
that
like, like I thought that was a quirk for children. You know what I mean? Like a Kill Bill kind of thing,
yeah.
where uh or when the bride tells the little girl that she'll see her later, she's anticipating that the little girl will take revenge for her killing her mother.
Hmm.
My assumption was that he just does that with every child.
That he leaves living, that he lets him get away.
Yeah, as like his own survival thing, but now I'm realizing that it was literally just this one child.
And it was because his dad was basically a drunk, and then ditches his mom, stands up for herself, he leaves, and then becomes a pastor, gets a new family, new wife, and then so he puts a cross on his head.
Oh man, that just added so much detail because now, as far as I'm understanding the story, he went and killed his dad and then killed the wife. I'm
Yep,
assuming out of jealousy for not
his mom.
having his own. Yeah. And the moment he carved that cross into his brother's head, he was just like, this is my death warrant.
Yeah,
And
I know,
one
I
day
know you're
I'll
coming for me. And he even says that, he says, I put that cross on your head so I knew you when you came back.
yeah. And I still just thought it was a quirk that he did with children.
Nope. Because his dad was a drunk, beat his mom. His mom finally stood up for herself. He leaves, becomes a man of faith, has his own church, has another kid with a wife.
My Bond pitch, I was thinking about it. I think I'd love to have this director direct that trilogy. If that was
Ooh,
ever a thing, just cuz I could see little flourishes being added, but so elegantly that they don't distract. There's some flourishes in this that if they went further, it'd be like, oh, that's a little jarring. you know. Um and also while watching this film, I not to stay on the Bond pitch too long. I know how Idris Elba's James Bond would die, which would be him going and doing the gun barrel at the end, but it's the other person's gun barrel. Instead of red going down, that gun barrel he gets shot, and then the camera comes out of the gun barrel as he falls, and it goes over him as he dies.
Or, I mean, you could do it backwards too. You could have him get shot, have him stand there for a second, and as he starts to fall, you pull back into the barrel, and you can end the movie by shooting a second shot.
Okay.
And then because that second bullet passing through would blacken the screen and just stop there, and you can just have the sound or have the red, like the red fireball, kind of lead you into the credits.
Yeah, Fireball. That'll be a good that'll be like the next Heineken. Fireball spent $70 million to be drunk by Bond in this movie.
So you wanted James Samuel to do this, to do your trilogy with Idris Elba.
I think it could be really interesting.
Netflix almost didn't even give him this movie because it was his first feature-length film. Netflix was nervous to give him $90 million for a budget.
I knew you were gonna mention the budget at some point.
The budget's my favorite. I'm secretly a box office accountant.
Wow, 90 million only for this.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, it's a lot of it's on a set. The towns are stage towns, kind of like how they used to do the old western. So I mean, that's not super expensive.
Okay.
I mean, they probably did it on a set so that way they can have perfectly clear nights every night. Old spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, it's just interesting. The talent on board is.
Yeah, no, the talent seeps through this movie.
Dude, if Red Notice or Red Note or whatever it is isn't like at least a solid joint, I'm gonna be so pissed. No, it'll probably need to be an edible. Otherwise, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed at that near $300 million budget when this one is so goddamn excellent on a third of the budget with more stars that I'm excited about.
Like probably just as many quips.
No offense to, I know I shit on Dwayne Johnson a lot, but he is a charming actor. I just think he's fuck off when you want to be Bond. Like, come on.
Over my dead body.
Your tunnel vision, your reality distortion field is that extreme that you can't even realize that you shouldn't be Bond.
Didn't he also put together a presidential campaign?
I was just gonna say, somehow him wanting to be president is less ridiculous than him wanting to be Bond. Barely. But like, he's an entertaining actor. So I am counting him as one of the three people, him, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds. And this one just has more people. And I understand they don't have the same paycheck. No one on this movie made 20 million. I hope Idris made 10 million. Or at least 5 million.
I hope so.
I
wouldn't be mad if you said we're going to pay all of them, 4 or 5 million, but everybody's making the same paycheck.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't be mad at that.
But I would be. Gal, Ryan, and Dwayne made 20 million each for their Netflix movie. There's no way this whole cast made 60 million. No. And then the rest was made for 30 million. But yeah, if it's like a jointy skunky Red Notice, I'm gonna be like, fuck you, Netflix. Like, why? Yeah. If they greenlight The Harder They Fall 2, then I'll be like, fine. I don't care. Whatever.
Fine. But now give them 180 million, see what they can do.
Or not even 90 million, or at least push it harder, Yeah. Push it harder. Give it I don't know. I wouldn't, if I were Netflix, I would have pushed both movies equally, because I would be like, well, obviously we paid $300 million. We should really push this hard. But on the other side, it's like, yeah, and then let's push this $90 million one a lot more, or as much, because they're not going to demand $30 million a piece for the sequel. They're not going to demand that the sequel costs $400 million to make.
Now, in all fairness, Red Notice did go to theaters, was released in theaters, so they are box office office numbers. So I mean, to be fair, so I mean they are, there's a better chance of a higher return.
I want to know who forced it to be in theaters.
The Rock, absolutely, 100% The Rock.
If it
Yeah,
That's what I was guessing, but it doesn't make any sense to me because he said
because
he's not suing Disney for them breaking the contract and putting Jungle Cruise on Disney Plus like Scarlett Johansson sued Disney. He
yeah,
also wants to run for president. If it is true that he's the one that forced it into theaters, everyone be like, I'm not voting for you. You forced a Netflix movie to be in theaters, thus endangering people's lives for something that's not even normal.
that you're giving away for $8.99 for streaming.
Yeah, it's like the Nolan thing with Tenet still annoys me, but I can understand that line of thinking, or I don't know, or The Irishman. Martin Scorsese's so old school that of course he would have wanted The Irishman in theaters because he would have wanted it in theaters. That makes
I,
sense.
I don't want it in theaters because it's like 4 hours.
But like a week after Dwayne Johnson's like, we're only using fake guns on sets. And it makes sense. I love that he said that. I'm not shitting at him. A week after that, he's like, but also some people should risk COVID. It would just be weird. Anyway, way too much attention we're giving to a movie we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah,
That's I
that
mean,
it's on my list.
I'm
I will
I'm
eventually see it.
and we'll have to see it for this podcast because I will say if I like Red Notice or whatever it's called more than this movie, I'll give you $20. And
Every
I'll be
listener,
honest.
$20.
No, 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 no. No, no, no,
Listen to
no,
the
no, no,
podcast, you will
no.
get
I'm giving
$20.
it to Brad. And if you come on the Patreon and Brad wants to, you guys can rock, paper, scissors for it.
We'll do a giveaway for your $20.
And honestly, if I like it more than this movie, the beginning of the podcast would be like, holy fucking shit. How did it do this? Okay, this is amazing. And that'll be worth the $20.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that hard because you gave this movie a mushroom?
Yeah, but a mushroom is like the highest thing I'd rate something normally.
Oh,
Like ayahuasca is like a rare breed.
yeah, maybe I might have I gotta look at the list again. Might be backwards.
Mushroom is an A. Edible is a B, essentially. Joint is a C. Skunky is a D.
Oh yeah,
And what was it? Cocaine, pills, something. What's an F?
Molly.
No,
Oh, poison.
poison. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought mushroom was lower. Sorry. So
Did
you
you
did
want to
that?
change your rating?
No. This movie fires on all cylinders. I'm good with what I picked. I thought mushroom was lower in my head. I thought it was between like skunky and joint, but for whatever reason.
Because it grows in the dark.
Yes, because it is kind of funky, and I don't like mushrooms, so I guess that's probably it too.
Gotcha. Well,
A vegetarian that doesn't like mushrooms.
well, depends on what type of mushrooms you've tried. Yeah.
I mean, this movie's got a lot of quips. I thought that was kind of unique for a Western like this. I mean, you've got the beginning. If you turn in this body, you get $5,000. You can keep it for your church. And he's like, well, why don't you turn him in? And he's like, because I'm worth 10. Like right away in the beginning with Nat Love.
See,
And then
I see where you're coming from, but consider probably because we've been talking about a Ryan Reynolds-esque movie. It doesn't feel like a Ryan Reynolds movie is what strikes me as a quippy movie, like a Deadpool. And I didn't feel any of that in here.
When I say quip, I mean like, a lot of quick one-liners. I mean, Deadpool is probably like the ultimate quippy movie.
Mm-hmm.
But more like, I think of it more like James Bond. I know we bring this up a lot. I mean, James Bond franchise a lot, but James Bond has a lot of like one-liner quips, like in the moment kind of thing. He doesn't do it to be funny. It's just more of a like it's almost ironic. He almost like James Bond finds it ironic. Like something will happen and you're like, oh, well, that's using your head. Like,
or
so I mean it's got a lot of funny things like that. I mean, Deadpool, I think his quips are made to be jokes,
yeah,
but a lot of James Bond quips are made to be like almost ironic.
I did love that 10K line because it tells us why he's not bringing him in. Of course, it gives a more human side to him because he's like use it for the church, and also gave a huge hint into his character before we saw him do anything dastardly.
Yeah,
Um,
because he doesn't rob banks,
yeah, or
which in that time was like the crime to do.
dude, that white town.
Oh, just fun fact, they use 70 different shades of white to give that town contrast and color depth, and they 70 different cans of or different shades of white.
That makes so much sense.
And I think it's funny because it was like I forgot what the town name was. It was like the White Town,
Yeah, it had
and
it in
the town is
parentheses.
literally white.
Yeah, and there
Everything in the town.
even before it had that parentheses of the white town, there was like some toothpaste sign or billboard or something like
Yeah,
that, and
yeah, right on the
I
far
could
side.
you couldn't see the whole thing, but it even had white in as part of the ad read or whatever it was. Oh, dude, what? Let's talk about ZZ Beats.
Yes, she did. She was fantastic in this movie, and the song that she sang too at the beginning of the movie. I mean, the score of this movie is fantastic. I don't want to take anything away from that, but the song that she sang really kind of hit everything going right at that moment of the movie. The counting of the song, because they do that in a couple different songs, but the counting and kind of describing certain things. I mean, it really hit the characters at that moment.
Yeah,
So it really she fired on all cylinders for me. I mean, she was rocking this movie.
I think.
I would say better than Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There was I think my favorite scene in the movie is her and him in her room, taught like basically cueing us, not the sex, but like
Oh,
the moment
I was
before
laughing
it.
because I was laughing because the moment after it.
Oh yeah, no, the moment when they're kind of uh cleverly telling us their exposition, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
uh and it sounded so weird when I said it in my reaction. I'm sure it'll sound weird too, but you could see their history in, this isn't the weird part, in her eyes and her lips, like how there was so much nuance and emotion in the, and I don't mean like the kissing and like, oh, pretty lips, but like there was like pain in her eyes and lips,
I mean,
and it just
she in not so many words. I mean, she really describes their relationship of the past.
yeah.
Because I think the couple lines that she gives that kind of set up this entire relationship is the only words I want to hear you say are goodbye, goodbye, Mary, or something like that. And he said, "You'll never hear that again."
Oh, ah, beautiful.
Yeah, because he
uh
he describes, he killed all the guys except for the one, but the one's locked away in prison, never have to worry about him. So it's almost like the weight of the world came off his shoulders. And then right at the end of this, to find out that he is getting broken out, and
and,
then the weight of the world falls back on.
and to twist a line from Ted Lasso, unlike clunky exposition, this leaves a lot to the imagination. um, the only other shot that I like, my favorite shot in the whole movie, in fact, was after she knocked out treacherous Tracy or something, and she
Treacherous Trudy.
Trudy, yeah, and she just screams and it's like, ah, like Zazie Beats' character, Mary's screams. That shot, that just need I need to screenshot that and make that like a background on my computer or something, because that was fucking powerful. But you just reminded me because you said him getting out. Dude, the train sequence.
Yeah, Well, and another good quip. My friend, or I'm not a violent man, but I'm with a bunch of violent criminals. And then he was counting. He started counting or whatever, and she shot the one guy, and he was like, "My friend isn't much for arithmetic."
Or the twist about the pardon and
Mhm.
them killing the entire squad except for the kid.
Well, and because they were going to kill the kid first, decided not to,
Yeah.
and then to find out that the kid they shot the kid's dad, and then all right, who can drive a train? Looks around, the kid's the only one with his hand up. He's like, all right, kill everybody but him.
Yeah.
And then he
No.
just like the slow motion walk through the carnage. I mean, as Idris Elba is getting out of that prison cell, fantastic,
Or
fantastic camera angles, fantastic slowdown, fantastic.
even before that, there was an overhead camera angle of them coming through, and it's just, whew, wow. And Idris Elba not. It felt very unusual watching a western where he didn't immediately ditch his prison garbs,
Yeah, I mean, he wore it for quite a while. I
and
mean,
he
all the way
he
back to Red Town or whatever.
he even took off the jacket and like held it over his arm like it was a
Yeah.
proper coat.
Well, because he went into the bank, the banker is sweating, and he said, "Ooh, it's warm outside today," or something like that. And he goes outside and then takes off his jacket and holds it. Yeah,
Ah, I don't know. Just
and then
if,
two gold pistols that he had,
yeah.
and then him knocking out the teeth of the former
Oh yeah.
marshal of the town,
Ooh.
or
Mm,
sheriff.
that bastard. Like,
Yeah, pistol whips him to two teeth fall out.
mm,
And then
dude.
I thought after that, the first time watching that, I thought after that, he's gone. He's doing the 100-mile dash right now. He's out of there. And then to come back at the end and help everybody out, it was pretty cool. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to see him back throughout the rest of the movie after he knocked two teeth out of his head.
Yeah, and I don't feel like he's redeemed. Like he was gonna sell out that whole town just
Yeah,
to get his purse or get a
yeah,
bag, and then go.
yeah.
So
He's
fuck him.
yeah,
But I did appreciate that before he died, he wasn't playing some superiority game. He wasn't like either
yeah.
doing his own version of a "we're not too different, you and I," or I may have done cut some corners, but I was an honorable. No, none of that
Yeah,
bullshit. He was a piece of shit. He was a
he
piece
knew
of
it.
shit back when he ran with him. He was a different kind of piece of shit when he was solo. Um, but man, I don't know. It just feels like talking about this movie is very we're scattered, but we love it. Or at least
Yeah.
for me, I feel very scattered. Like it doesn't feel like there
Well,
is.
it helps when we jump straight to the end, like 10 minutes before the
Sorry.
ending, then go back to back to the forward, then jump back to the end to describe the beginning.
I'm really
Yeah.
reviewing this like Memento is structured.
Yes. Where it's forwards and backwards and they come back together.
But,
Oh, that's a good movie. A really good
mm,
movie. Christopher Nolan.
ah, this
But
is just a good time.
yeah, I mean, it was fun the whole way through. What was the 5 minutes that you said there, kind of in the middle, that you were getting a little worried that it was going to start dragging on?
Um, I think it may have been before Mary goes in to scope out the town.
Oh, when they're kind of like describing their initial plan
Think
of how they're gonna,
so.
and they were kind of outside of town at their own like makeshift camp in front of a wagon and stuff.
I think so. There's a bit of time either before she goes in or after she gets caught and they're supposed to go to the town, but I don't think it's after. It was before. There was just a little moment where I was like, uh, um, uh, I don't know. It may have been after he knocked the guy's teeth out because I was feeling a lack of action on the heroes' side, quote unquote, the heroes' side. Um,
Is anybody really a hero in this movie?
yeah, no, I don't think so, but you know what I mean. Like the protagonists, it felt like they were lounging a bit. Uh, it was literally 5 minutes, and I wouldn't be surprised on a rewatch if that was just completely gone, where I was more feeling like it could drag. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
started being like, oh no, is it slowing down to a grind? And I was like, oh no, it is not. No, it is
Yes.
not. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really feel that, but I mean, I thought this movie was fantastic from start to finish. I really didn't have anything wrong with it.
um,
Um,
and it's a Western. Like, you're not going to
yeah.
have times where you chill out. I was literally just in the No Time to Die review. I know we didn't record it like last week or anything, but I literally was like, I would like some more loungy parts. You know, it would be weird to complain. Why are they just sitting around a campfire talking? It's a fucking Western.
Shining the saddle and
Yeah.
making moonshine.
Early on when they were all joining him, I was getting so scared for who was going to be dead, because like, shit, this is not a movie where they all get out of here alive. And
I mean, I knew in a gunfight like that, there was no way they were getting out all alive. I knew there were going to be some big deaths. Watching it through the first time, there's no way.
you know,
Especially with how prominent Idris Elba's character was.
you know what surprised me though? I was like 51-49 knowing that the kid was going to die, whoever wanted to keep going up against Cherokee. I was barely tilting, but it really did feel up in the air for me until he started counting. And then I was like, oh yeah, he's being too cocky. Stop doing that fancy bullshit.
Well, he said, okay, I'll count. Well, go ahead and count down from 5. And so he says 5. He opens up his chamber, drops one bullet out. Dude, says 4, grabs a bullet from his. Yeah, grabs a bullet with his name on it, loads it in. He says 3. He clips it shut and then gets shot in the face. Like, as soon as you flip back to him, he gets shot right through the face. You're just like, oh.
So
and then the quip after that was, why do they always take so damn long?
The thing that really surprised me though was that Taraji Jr. beat him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know her name. I'm sorry. But she beat him.
Coffee or
Oh yeah, Cuffy.
I
had subtitles on.
Yeah, I did too.
Okay. But she like, I loved her line, like, you're not gonna skip the count or whatever and shit. And then when like the shot went off and she blinked, I saw the smoke, so I was like, wait, so did they both get shot? Because I was like, this guy he has such a reputation for being the quickest draw. They had to both be shot. But I was so shocked that she was, not only was she faster, but definitely the kid was faster, because she confirmed it. And I was like, oh shit, Cherokee's just been like essentially coasting, I think, on his reputation.
Yeah.
And just being taken advantage and being a dirtbag to stay alive.
And I guess, he had a reputation. I don't know. I don't know if it's an actual reputation or they were just doing it to antagonize him. But a couple of people, I think 2 different people, made a mention of him shooting people in the back. And that was, okay, yeah. So I don't know if that was just done to antagonize him. Like, okay, come on, you want to draw against me. Or if it was, he was kind of coasting, if he thought he was going to get beat, or he thought he was going to be a little bit slower, that he was just going to shoot him in the back. So that way he didn't have to worry about it.
I definitely believe that that's an earned reputation, since he killed the sniper through his back. I saw it. Well, 2 things. One, the reputation that I think he's been coasting on is that he's the fastest draw in the West. And then he takes advantage of other people's cockiness where they're trying to do fancy bullshit, and he always skips the count. That's how he's been staying alive. But I saw his shooting people in the back reputation as people finding it either hypocritical or disrespectful for someone with such a reputation for being a talented, what would you call it? Like, when people do it, a dueler, I guess.
Yeah, a duel.
Being the quickest draw for someone with that reputation to then go and shoot somebody in the back and not always do a duel with everybody. Am I explaining that well?
Yeah.
It kind of
you have to earn something like that. People just don't say, you shoot people in the back because everybody knows you're the fastest draw in the West. But then to earn the reputation of shooting people in the back, you had to have at least done it and not just thought about it.
let me put it this way. It would be like how I would imagine. Can you still hear me? Okay. Uh Imagine tomorrow, like it comes out that Banksy painted a house and it was just a normal paint job. Like completely normal. I think people would be like, why the fuck did you do that, Banksy? Like, what's special? There's literally nothing special. Why are you wasting your time? Why did you tell everybody that you painted this house? It just looks like a fucking house.
It could have
Why?
been anyone down the street.
Why? Why did you do that? You're
You know,
Banksy. So how I saw it was like
movies are dope.
how I saw this is like, why the fuck would you shoot him in the back? You're the quickest draw in the no. You should be dueling everybody. You're so why are you wasting our time by shooting him in the back?
I mean, I can understand the one kid because I mean his count was super slow, so I can understand that. Like,
I saw
mean,
that as him just using that as an excuse. Like he'll shoot someone in the back in private when there's no one else who he thinks will be alive to tell the tale. But if he's in public and he's like, I am going to fucking die if I play fair.
Yeah.
What's my oh yep, he's coming slowly again.
I mean, in all fairness, that was probably like 7 or 8 seconds that he stood there waiting for this kid to like obnoxiously load a bullet with his name on it.
Yeah, but if you're truly the quickest draw in the West, you can relax for 20 seconds and win, and then be like, "Hey, do me a favor and don't do that slow counting bullshit." You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So we talked. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's weird because this was such a engaging, amazing movie, and I keep feeling like I'm out of stuff to say.
Oh, I was going to jump towards the end. Kind of, we teased it a little bit in the spoiler-free section. They left it open. Obviously, he kills Idris Elba, which comes out to be his brother. He says, "Yo, you'll exceed even me because you're able to kill your brother, and I can't do it." And he ended up shooting him, kind of tucking him in. He falls to the floor. He kind of tucks him in, straightens out his vest, makes him look pretty. But then they go to a scene with Nat Love, the main character's name on a grave, and kind of gives you that that second guessing, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But he retires that name and takes, he doesn't, I don't think he actually says what his name is going to be, if he's going to take the Buck name or not. But so you see a name with his name, Pickett's name, and was it the sheriff's name? No, it was somebody else.
No,
On their gravesite, because the sheriff says if I say they're dead, they're dead.
Yeah, that was about Nat Love though. I think it was probably the kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sharpshooter or the quick draw.
Yeah. What was his name? I forget, but yeah. That I for a second I thought Zazie Beetz was really leaving him. Like I was like, oh shit, yeah, she's keeping her word. Fuck.
Is Jim. That's why we can't remember the name, because he didn't have a cool name.
He
Jim
did have
Beckworth.
a cool name.
Jim Beckworth.
All right. Well, a complicated name, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I remember she used his last name when she said he was quicker.
Yeah. But he didn't have a cool name like Cherokee Bill or Bass Revis, which is the sharpshooter.
Touche.
Yeah. But I think the score of this movie stands out above a lot of other movies. They really use music really well.
You're frozen. While you're frozen, I'll talk about a favorite moment from. Oh, sorry. Let's try to fill the space because you're frozen. Are you still frozen? You're still frozen. Okay. When Taraji Eyes is in the dress and she's like, not that kind of not that, and she's digging through her dress to get the gun. That was one of my favorite moments for her. But you are still frozen, sir. Oh no. I'm gonna stop recording. All right, sir. What were you talking about before the internet crashed? And yeah, the ending, right?
The ending, yeah. So I didn't know. I don't. It makes it easy for them to keep going, um, especially with the Mark Graves and stuff like that. It makes it easy for them to transition out of this if they wanted to. Um, how he wants to redeem his name, or I mean, I don't know, since they're not really going out of true stories off anything. Because this is the first time he robbed a bank. He said he never robbed banks, and Rufus Buck was like, "No, you're gonna rob a bank."
Yeah, that's
And then transitioning into your story of um Cuffy in a dress.
oh, you heard that? I was just
that was
trying to fill space.
that was the last thing I heard.
When I was just talking about when she was trying to get the gun out and it was
Out of
so
the
awkward
ruffles.
for her. Yeah. But that does remind me of when he, said his name very clearly for the last person who I know he was like talking to someone who had a gun who he's afraid might kill him, but he called him sir. I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch.
He definitely kills bad guys. He definitely robs the robbers, kind of thing. But he definitely doesn't want to kill innocent people if he doesn't have to. It seems like,
Yeah.
even because even when he robbed the bank, he was like, you know what, robbing a bank is easy. He was like, but not killing anybody while doing it, that's not so hard, or that's not as easy. And then he's like, shakes the bank manager's hand and like walks out. They help him load the thing, and the siren goes off.
uh, the one moment when he shake the bank manager's hand that made me nervous was when anyone who's listening, he has his thumb like at a 90-degree angle up, and when the bank manager takes his hand, he doesn't immediately put his thumb down, and I don't know why. It was probably just because that was unusual to see, but I was like, oh shit, what does that mean?
He was expecting a full handshake and didn't get one. That's what
Yeah.
that means.
Well,
So it's one of those awkward handshakes.
He ended up getting one, but he just paused the lowering of the thumb by like a second or two, and I was like, probably didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But have you seen any of those Disney Plus Marvel shows?
Some of them. I don't know which ones you're referring to.
Which ones have you seen?
I've seen What If. I've seen WandaVision. I've seen what's the other one? Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I've not seen the Hawkeye one yet though.
And there's also Loki.
Oh, I've seen Loki. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if there's any more or not, but I've seen those ones.
No. I'm just saying that because in one of those shows, which I won't spoil because it's really cool to see him, he Jonathan Majors is that his name?
Nat Love. Yep.
He shows up and it's sparkling. And I watched a few episodes of Lovecraft Country, but for some reason I just couldn't get into it. He plays a much more straight-laced kind of person in that. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's like Idris Elba, where I'm just like, I just want to see those gray, morally gray roles where he can just be kind of weird. Like in the role that he shows up in those Disney Plus Marvel shows, it's very quirky. It's not like the bread and butter of Idris Elba, which is to say a bastard. You know what I mean? Like Luther, the Suicide Squad, this movie, Idris Elba shines when he's a bastard. When you try to put him in more traditional roles, it's kind of like, there's something. It's like Roy Kent in Ted Lasso.
Oh,
but that's never, your speed is never what made you a good player. It's your anger. I haven't seen you used to kick the ball like you found a fucking your wife. To run like you were mad at the grass. I haven't seen that on the pitch at all this season. Just scared of what'll happen if you keep it all to yourself. That's kind of Idris Elba with me. When you ever try to make him like the Chris Pine, Star Trek role. It's always like, there's
Yeah,
something missing.
and it's his attitude. You're kind of missing your
Yeah.
your pizzazz.
Yeah, Chris Pine can do that and be a really fucked up weird character, and do both. But Idris Elba, it always feels like you just I don't know, you're just being too cookie cutter right now, bro. You gotta let loose. And I wonder if the same is true for Jonathan Majors.
He definitely shines. It definitely shines in this movie.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, if I was gonna make a resume with him, this movie would be up there on the top.
Oh yeah, yeah. This would be the first thing I would say to
A
watch,
highlight reel.
and because like I said, I don't want to spoil which show because it would take away something if you knew which show he was going to show up in. Take away some of the mystery, and all the shows have mysteries. Falcon Winter Soldier, who's the power broker? Loki, who's pulling the strings? WandaVision, who's pulling the strings? What if? What the fuck is gonna happen? He's not in What If. I'll say it. It's animated,
Yeah, he can still, his voice can show up, but I mean his character.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm talking about. So yeah, that's really, really thoughtful of them to keep a who is this character in each show. Yes.
So one of the big things, and I know we keep bringing this back, but I promise it ties back into this. One of the big things with Bond is people don't want an older Bond. They want him kind of in that right sweet age range. Idris Elba is always one that seems to come up, or has come up a couple times. How old do you think Idris Elba is?
60s.
Oh, no, he's not that quite old.
Really?
Yeah, he's not quite that old, but people want that sweet age around 30, 35, maybe 40 kind of as their Bond.
I think it's because he's not afraid to show his gray hairs that I was
Yeah.
willing to guess older. Sorry, Idris.
He's 49.
What?
Yeah, if I looked at him, I mean, I probably would have said 55, but looking fit. Like if I looked that good right now, I'd be happy. But
I was gonna go 55 because he always seems to be playing older, like quote unquote. Is he past his prime characters? Like even Luther,
Yeah.
he must have shot when he was in his 30s. He just seems like an old, grumpy man in Luther.
He also
49. Fuck.
Yeah.
I thought he was at least the same age as Daniel Craig, who is in his 50s.
He's also a DJ.
He has a show on Netflix, Idris Elba, that I just saw today, put in my queue, where he's a DJ.
Yeah, I mean he is a DJ. He goes by DJ Big Drills.
For real?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean he was a kickboxer at one point in time.
He's gonna kickbox me to the curb if I ever meet him and he's heard this.
Yeah.
Be like, dude, I guess you were 60s when you were 49 up top. Want to hear my Bond pitch?
that might interest him. We might have him hooked there, but everything else, I don't know. Yeah, he also DJ'd at the NBA All-Star parties in 2007. I mean, this guy's
dude, he's awesome.
Yeah. He's had an interesting life, it looks like, just kind of running through his wiki. But yeah, one professional kickboxing. He won by TKO.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2016, that wasn't even that long ago.
Damn.
Yeah, so he was what, 45 when he did this?
Do you know who Tim Ferriss is?
Off the top of my head, no.
He's the entrepreneur who wrote like 4 Hour Body, 4 Hour Work Week, stuff like that. He found a loophole that became standard in some country in Asia where if you throw someone out of the ring 3 times, you automatically win the match. And he did the thing where that professional athletes do, where they drink a shit ton of water like 1 or 2 days before the weigh-in, and then it causes you to shed so much water, and
Mhm.
he goes down a weight class or two and then rehydrates over the next day before his matches. So he was essentially 1 or 2 weight classes above everyone else, did not know how to fight, and would just take these smaller Asian gentlemen and throw them out of the ring. And he won the whole thing. And then he was the first one to find that, to think about that loophole. And now it's just standard practice for literally every single
I
athlete.
I know that, and UFC kind of cracked down on some of that because people were taking that to the, obviously when you find a loophole like that, you take it to the absolute extreme as far as you can go,
Yeah.
to the point where like people were like overly dehydrated and then trying to rehydrate within the last 24 to 48 hours. So I know that some of it's been cracked down a little bit since then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Super,
still.
super simple. Have them weigh in an hour later, get in the ring. Love it.
Yeah.
I am pro not putting your body at more risk than you already are in terms
I
of like concussions.
yeah, dehydrating yourself down to almost nothing,
Yeah.
to a raisin, and then trying to bring yourself back to a grape.
Oh, that was great. Oh, you stuck the landing there. That's another Ted Lasso reference. Is this a review of The Harder They Fall or Ted Lasso? You'll never
Or
know.
or James Bond, any of them.
Yeah. Or Charlie Bartlett.
Yeah, or the Kingsman, because that gets brought up every time too. We're gonna have like a counter of like, ding. Yep, we've said the Kingsman. Bing, we've said Bond. All right,
To be
two for 6.
to be fair, I didn't bring up Kingsman once in this review. Which is really strange, as the one who's marked by the Kingsman brand.
Okay, so since I've already given us the box office numbers, what do you think
Oh
the
wait, what are the box office? Oh wait, did it get?
not
Oh, you mean the budget?
budget and box office? It didn't have a box office, obviously, but it does have a Rotten Tomato score. So what do you think the reception to this movie was when it first came out?
89%.
87. That was really close. Yeah, but I think that's super high considering this is kind of an underappreciated movie.
Is that audience score or critic score?
Reviewer aggregate score.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the critics only review like the Squid Games, right? So how many reviews were there?
On this it said 173.
Yeah, I'm not surprised considering the cast. I would expect critics to. How many audience reviews are there though?
I can take a look right now.
Oh, okay. Did
I
you
was just looking,
you just took
pulling out
notes?
the wiki. Yeah, I pulled off the wiki.
Gotcha. Like if there's 1,000 reviews, then I'd be surprised. But the harder they fall.
Yes. Oh, reviews, audience score 93,
Oh yeah.
but 50 plus ratings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would expect. Whoa, what the heck? I clicked on the audience scores and there's a half star rating that says terrible writing, made no sense. I have seen better Western. I just wish they would have a better script. Actor are good, but just can't make it bad. Scripts look good. I'm trying to be generous with their typing and just assuming that English isn't their first language. But then the one below it that go fuck yourself has said predictable. Way too predictable. Come on.
I don't think it's that predictable. I think you kind of have an idea of where it's going to go or where the rabbit hole is going to lead.
Yeah.
I think the brother twist at the end was a nice touch. Is it a little bit of a trope? Sure, but I mean it fits in really nice.
and it didn't feel like it was,
shoehorned in.
yeah, or like just overly foreshadowed,
Yeah,
it felt smooth.
or under foreshadowed, where they just all of a sudden you're my brother. I mean, the tie-in that they didn't make sense to me the first time, but watching a second time made sense, and I was like, oh man, that makes perfect sense.
uh
About the whole brother twist, but it ties back into the opening scenes of the movie. So, oh, I see the look on your face, and I want to ask what you just read.
I haven't read the whole thing yet. It's a half star. It's a short paragraph, but this film is smoking hot garbage. Awful script, awful story, awful set design, awful set pieces, awful camera work, awful use of shock value, and a stunning waste of talent. Worst of all, it was boring. The only thing Western, quote unquote, about this oddly plastic looking Western was the spit in the opening scene. The fact that he spit on the floor, which I thought was a nice touch. The harder they fall is so freaking bad, it doesn't even rise to the level of a parody.
Did this guy watch?
What movie was he watching?
Like, was he watching? There was a 1956 version of The Harder They Fall. I mean, I don't think it's the same. I think it just happened to be the same name.
Really awful camera work.
Yeah,
What a
I
fucking weirdo.
considering we compared this to what's his name? I mean, that's crazy.
Quentin Tarantino and
Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, considering we compared it to that, like in the non-spoiler review, and you're gonna say awful camera work.
oh, this is this
This
this this is amazing.
this person has the attention span of a squirrel.
Literally, the thing that popped in my head when I was talking about them pushing the visual flares too much was X-Men Origins Wolverine when they make his dog tags. And the next, if you ever watch that movie again, it's so fucking jarring. They're like, uh, if you don't remember, Logan is lying in the pool, about to be put under and have the vibranium put into his veins. And they're like, what do you want your name to be? And he says, the Wolverine. And then you get this fully CG, full screen thing of a big stamper just going, kush. And then you see the giant fucking dog tag and it says Wolverine. And then they go right back to the shots that they were just using. And then he has the dog tags on hanging on him now. And they're like, all right, put him under. And it's so first off, it's visually jarring where it's like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is what? Why are you spending any CG budget money on making these dog tags when the claws look so fucking horrible? Two, did they just sit there and be like, all right, we're about to start the procedure, but hey Jerry, yeah, go over to the dog tag press. Yeah, put Wolverine on it. Okay, we'll wait. Anyone want some coffee? You need anything? You hungry? No? Okay. We'll just wait here. Who wants to play Among Us? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit. It takes like 10 minutes for it to cool down. It just we just gotta wait. Okay. Oh, hey, Jerry's actually here. Okay, okay. Can you give it to her? All right. Yeah. I mean, we just made it for you, so you might as well wear it, right? Yeah. Put a loose chain with fucking dog tags into a surgical machine that's going to inject you. Yeah, it's fine. If it's floating around in the water, it won't. Nah, yeah. I mean, it could get caught. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's so fucking stupid and weird. Sorry, I went in on that even more than I thought I would.
I thought so. Speaking of the visualizations and stuff like that, I thought this was really nice. Western film style, not overly bright colors, not overly grainy, not, kind of like floats that little bit of line of kind of looking a little old. But then during the fighting sequence with Trudy and Mary, they go into that,
about that.
they kind of fall into where they make the clothing and stuff like that, and they've got all the colors kind of like a rainbow of sheets and stuff like that. Thought that was pretty cool.
Dude, and Trudy's knife. That was
Yeah,
sick. How it's just
yeah,
like
on a chain.
mounted to be grabbed. Like, well, yeah, that too. I was just gonna get to that, but like on her hip, it's mounted with the blade sticking outward at like a 45-degree angle from her, so she can grab it and then go forward. And I was like, oh shit, that is a
That's like
little
one of those.
more flourish, and it would have been a Robert Rodriguez movie.
And then it's like on one of those, like it's on a chain too, so she can like throw it and whip it back, kind of like the ancient Japanese weapon that I'm drawing a blank of, that has a weight on the one side. And yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was well done. It was, so not everything was a gunfight through this thing. Some of it was hand to hand or pistol whipping. Um, but so a couple quick trivia facts before we start, as we kind of wind down here. The train that Idris Elba is on that he gets freed, the train company's name is C.A. Bozeman, because they filmed this movie in 2020 shortly after Chadwick Boseman passed away. So I mean, just to kind of like tie that in.
This did COVID exist when Chadwick Boseman passed?
Yes, because he passed in August.
Wow. Okay, so they filmed this during COVID.
They had to film it. They
Shit.
had to have filmed it after because he passed away.
No, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
during the pandemic, because I remember Red Notice said they added like 20-30 million dollars to the budget because of COVID restriction guidelines, um, which doesn't seem a lot since it's almost $300 million. But now I'm thinking about how, wow, this really didn't hit me as a film that could have been filmed in COVID,
yeah,
especially with, I mean, hey, if they're all in the middle of fucking nowhere, if they'd started filming in the middle of fucking nowhere and they were like, yeah, just don't bring in new crew members. And I
yeah.
think, and no vacations. Yeah. Everyone just
Yeah.
hang out and yeah,
We'll
cool.
wrap this up in a couple of weeks and send him on home.
I when the train was stopping, I was like, dumbass.
Yeah, like who does that? You're hard, you know what you have on your train. You have an idea that you have a what was it, 10 or 11 army guys
Yeah, like
and a
I
prisoner that's in a box. Like why would you stop the train?
I wasn't rooting for Tracy to get like run over on screen, but like I'm just like dumbass. Fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
you know what's on your train. Like just keep going. I mean, she's you're either going to lose the passenger and get jumped, or we're going to lose one person who was dumb enough to stand on a train or stand on train tracks.
I
And
guess they
you did everything you could to stop or to not hit her by honking for 3 miles ahead of time.
I guess they did do some work to explain why he did such a stupid thing where the first thing he says like uh really dumb way to get on the train, like come on, or something.
Well,
Like
and then
he assumed she wanted to get on.
yeah, and then he said, "You dumb," and then if you had the captions on, it
Oh,
says
I forgot.
N,
Yep.
it says
Yep.
N-I, and then she gets blasted before he finishes the word.
And
And
then like
then Cherokee Bill's like, "Well, he could have said nincompoop."
yeah, we're
She's like,
not
"We ain't no,
nincompoops.
yeah, we're not nincompoops either."
Oh yeah, I'm especially since how you've mentioned hating how uncomfortable you get watching Django Unchained and how you would rather have them not.
Yeah,
I
I
bet
mean,
you were like, phew.
I mean, it's not that I dislike the meaning of the word. I understand that it's in pop culture and it's used, but when it's used too much, I think is when it gets, like when they use it just to use it, not use it for context or for like a specific purpose. You're just using it to use it in movies and film. I think that's when it kind of goes overboard. As much as as good as Mel Brooks is with Blazing Saddles, that held the record for a long time till Django Unchained came. They just use it to use it, not it doesn't. I feel like they wrote it in there just to write it in there.
I got you. So you feel your feeling of the word even if the setting is appropriate, is my feeling of Will Ferrell humor in Step Brothers. Just give me something different.
Yeah.
Just fucking anything.
I'm okay with you using the word. I mean,
if it's
especially
appropriate.
if it's appropriate, but like just to write it just as like a dude, at the end of a sentence. Oh, dude. Like if you replace dude, where's my car? If you replace every time they said dude with the N word, I'd be like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
This is completely unwatchable to me.
I got you.
But my other fun fact, Zazie Beetz is a German American citizen. She also speaks fluent German. So when she dubbed her own lines.
Whoa! Hey now.
For this movie. There you go.
Hey, it's her and Vin Diesel doing the work. Because Vin Diesel did every single language for Groot.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Which normally I'd be like, must have been easy. But knowing Vin Diesel and the fact that he had like a 200-page script of what every I am Groot meant for him, like I guarantee there's no way he would have gone. I don't know what the German way to say. I'll say "Mi amo Groot" because that's how I mess with my daughter sometimes. I go "Mi amo Groot" and pretend like that's the way that Groot says "I am Groot" in Spanish. She's like, you get the joke.
Yep.
There's no way he would go in and say "Mi amo Groot." Mi amo Groot. Mi amo Groot. Mi amo Groot. Okay, done. That's my Spanish one, and I don't even know if that's how you would say it in Spanish. There's no fucking way. He's spending 7 hours on each language because he's fucking insane. Like, and I say that to make another and I did resist making a different Ted Lasso reference 2 minutes ago, but when there's a point where Roy Kent asks, "My eyebrows crazy," and someone says, "Your eyebrows aren't crazy. Thank you. They're psychotic." Appreciate that. It is a compliment. He's crazy because he will go above and beyond when it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least when it wouldn't have made a difference to an audience, but it matters to him, so he'll do it. Good on both of them. I like that.
Yep. All right. Last fact. James Samuel is the younger brother of the musician Seal, who also is in the soundtrack. All right, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm done. That's all my trivia. That's all I got for you.
I'm gonna reference a Lil Dicky song, which is very, very cringy to listen to today. I wouldn't recommend it. It's called White Dude. But he makes fun of Seal and he's like, and it's just so much easier to be a dude. Like, you ever seen Seal? Like, he has such a like, and everyone he dates, and then you like Adele is probably dating someone from like AT&T. I did want to say I could have had dual citizenship between Germany and the US because I was born in Germany on a US Army base. But I Googled what the age cutoff was like 2 months after my age cutoff.
Oh, man.
And I don't know a word of German except how to say no. And that's mainly because I know how to count to 10. But
my German extends to pretty much soccer, I guess. Soccer names and Bundesliga. I also know that the German language is very unique because they don't make up words, like we got new shoes. They're called Crocs.
Every word is made up words.
Okay. Well, we make up new we make up new words.
You mean that they never evolved their vocabulary at all?
Yeah, so they just combine words. So like the word mittens is hands is like translate to hand sock.
Nice. That's cool.
Turtle is toad is shield toad. The word shield, the word toad smashed together, turtle.
It's pretty interesting. That's
So that's just the way their language works.
Off topic for the first time ever in this whole review.
Yeah, I don't think we ever gone off topic ever.
But did you see that one offline TV clip where Michael says vineyard and Lily Pichu says it's vineyard? He goes, it's vineyard, and she just goes, is he trolling? He's like, yeah, but it says vineyard. He's like, yeah, but English progresses and colloquially it's pronounced vineyard. Not true if it was in German.
Yeah, just that's my extent to my German. I mean, it's interesting.
That is a cool fact, though.
Yeah, I like their language that they do this stuff like that. I'm sure it'd be easier to learn, unlike ours, where we have a different word for literally everything, and some of the same words have 3 different meanings, and and so much slang.
Most languages, you only need to learn like 5% or 3% of the words in order to function in 95% of communications. And that fact about the German language just makes me believe that it's even simpler.
Yeah, well, you have to understand. Well, you have to understand like how they get to their words. Like you wouldn't like if you're looking for the word mitten.
Oh yeah,
you wouldn't go like, well, it's a sock for my hand. You wouldn't like that would be the first thing come across your mind. You'd think glove or something like that, but not like hand sock or sock hand.
I guess it would be more complicated to figure out most communications. However, you'd probably have to memorize a smaller number of words.
Yeah, or if they have some kind of certain way of how they get to those words, like they always put the masculine word first or something like that. I don't know. Like
it would be like learning math. Like you'd learn 1 through 10 pretty easily, but then how to use all the combinations of using 1 through 10. It's yeah. I don't feel like my train that I was going on was interesting. Unlike the train in The Harder They Fall transition.
Boom. Got it.
Man, these reviews piss me off. I mean, the audience score is still 93%, but there is one person who gave it 5 stars who was willing to put a review. That's so weird.
Yeah, this movie is really good. If you haven't seen it, it is a little brutal. It is a little bloody. I mean, I definitely don't recommend this to little kids. But I mean, it's definitely a good movie. I mean, it's definitely a solid movie.
Yeah,
but if you have Netflix, I wouldn't hesitate to check it out.
And it's not fun bloody. Like Kingsman, I would say, is kind of just R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like, well, no, outside of the church sequence, because that's fucked. Like it's still fun because the song is fun, but like it ends with a guy being impaled and then sliding down the sharpened rod that impaled him. Outside of that, the rest of the action sequences are bloody but kind of fun, where it's just like la di da di da di da di da pew 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 pew. What's a better example? Maybe Deadpool. There's a lot of language, so I'm saying in terms of the action. The action in this is sometimes just fucking brutal. It's like, oh fuck. For instance, that fist fight that like 2 punches in, Idris takes his gun and pistol whips the guy. Ooh.
And knocks out 2 teeth.
Yeah, it gets your blood pumping, but you're not because you're comfortable or like having a fun time, like, woo, yeah, knock out the teeth, buddy. Yeah, so I agree. Not for kids. There's some R-rated ones where depending on your preference, like it can just be fun. I'm open to that, but this one is just like, I'm not showing it to my daughter.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
or if I did, there'd be a couple times of like, I'm coming. No, I'm
Well,
not even risking it.
especially the intro, like right away at the beginning, like
Oh,
you're 3-4 minutes into it, and you
oh,
finally, right before you get the title sequence,
that whole
and like
thing would have to be cut.
yeah, and it's like pause, and there's blood coming up both sides of them.
And dude, the direction was so perfect because the one thing I didn't want was to see the blade actually cutting the kid in the forehead,
Yes,
and I didn't get my wish, and it was done in such a controlled and perfect manner of you just saw it happening and then it's gone. Like, since we mentioned Inglorious Bastards, when they like cut into right before Brad Pitt goes, I think this might be my masterpiece. We see it and it's happening, and then we get I'm pretty sure we get a shot of it just like kind of floppy, like not perfectly lined up, and it just looks fucked, and it's gruesome. And this one was like just framing it just perfectly. We're like, I know what's happening, and it's worse than I know, and I'm not seeing it, and I don't want to see it. Don't show it to me. Oh shit, you're showing it to me. Oh my god.
but they do a good job because they don't show it to you right away in the beginning.
Yeah.
They show it happening, but you only see like his hand and the blade of the knife, which
And
we
the
didn't talk.
eyes of the child.
Yeah, and then the next scene, you get him, tipping his hat, and he lifts up, and you can see the cross on his forehead.
Yeah.
And then we didn't talk about him getting Idris giving him that knife back that he used to cut the cross in. He slides that back to him.
Yeah, that was yeah, no. That was also fucked.
Yeah. The fact that he kept it, well, now that we know it's his brother, but the fact that he kept it and then gave it back to him later. As a token of my good faith, here's the knife that I used to cut your forehead with as a child.
It's late in the review, but I really want to say I want to repeat that I really hope people watch this and recommend it to people, because this will sound so weird and virtue signally to say, but if the director was white and this bombed and it didn't get a sequel, I'd be like, oh no, he'll be fine. People in the industry, I'll be like, holy shit, wow, what a great job. Well, Netflix didn't know how to promote it, but come over here. But because he's not white, I'm just a small asterisk. I'm like, industry's still probably pretty sexist and racist, just quietly. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that would affect it. I hope he has a even if this is a quote unquote failure in terms of like engagement, this is such a great, stunning film. He worked with whoever the cinematographer was, did a great fucking job as well. It's just, this whole crew did such a great job. And if this ends up being a quote unquote failure, I hope he fails upwards, because
I hope he fails again, because I really like this movie.
because while I don't think Wonder Woman 2 is perfect, the director said that she had to walk away from Thor 2 because she didn't have the luxury of being able to fail upwards. If she had stayed on the movie and Thor 2 bombed or it wasn't good, her career would have been over. So I'm just trying to be conscious of that possible reality. So man,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm all for it.
yeah, if this is a director I'm gonna follow, like just like how I follow Matthew Vaughn, um, I'm gonna be so excited for whatever film this guy directs next.
Because he definitely deserves another one.
Yeah. Oh man, first feature film, only two
Two short
public
films,
shorts. Yeah,
and one of them was about Jay-Z. I don't remember what the first one was, but the second one was about Jay-Z.
I'm sure there are 1,000 short films that he hasn't released, as part of his learning process. But oh man, what a good show. Good showing. Not TV. Don't worry, it's not a TV show. It's 2 hours and like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It'll be a breeze to watch. Yeah. All right. Let me really quickly say the two excerpts from the rotten critic scores that I can see.
I'm ready.
Jake Wilson from Australia said
Bad start.
Westerns will always it. Nope, I'm not even. I was not trying to do a bad Australian accent, and you know I wasn't because I didn't even succeed at that. And westerns were always fantasies, but the harder they fall is so abstract a fantasy it barely feels like a western, more a series of poses involving cowboy outfits, six shooters, and desert landscapes. I disagree. The harder they fall, and then Ty Burr from Ty Burr's watch list says the harder. So basically, his channel is just his YouTube or his Amazon watch list. Sorry. I'm just throwing shots because he put his rotten. The harder they fall wobbles between witty homage and ugly Tarantinoid overkill, resulting in a movie that looks like it was more fun to make than it is to watch. That's the thing. It reminded me of little flourishes of Tarantino, but it didn't feel like overkill because it didn't even feel like they went on the level of extreme that Tarantino would have in the first place. So how can it be overkill?
Yeah. we didn't even think it hit there. So how we noticed the resemblance of it, but not enough to like, yeah, did Quentin Tarantino film this, or was he like an assistant director? Or no, it wasn't that high up on the thing, but we noticed, esque.
Yeah.
We noticed Tarantino-esque.
Interestingly, the tomato, the fresh rating under it said the harder they fall is a mess, but it's a fun mess. I also disagree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
There's a lot of characters, but I don't feel like it's messy. I feel like it always is under control and it knows exactly what it wants to be doing, exactly what it wants to be doing it.
Yeah. And none of the characters like really break out of their character. I mean, they don't go deep into everybody's background or anything like that. I mean, it's only a 2-hour movie, but they all stay within their characters. So you kind of know what to expect through each character and how they're going to act.
Yeah.
So it's nothing.
And even if they are like one note ish, like the kid whose whole obsession is like his
being him wanting
to like quick draw Cherokee Bill, was it?
Yeah. Yep.
To bring up Wonder Woman again, there's one of the people that Wonder Woman is in Wonder Woman's crew is like a sniper with PTSD.
I know which one you're talking about.
And he never does anything about that. He never has a moment later where like a sniper shot would help win the day and he gets to overcome his PTSD. So that felt like a one note character because it was like, oh, a sniper with a PTSD. What does he do in the film?
Makes the one shot to get over his PTSD.
He doesn't even do that. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't even do that. He's just there and he's a sniper who has PTSD. And that's it. Like my point being is the kid could have been a disappointing one note character, but he's not. He's given a little bit extra texture to make him feel like a real person and just enough to get over that hump of how am I trying to say this? He could have been some cliche character who we forget in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Instead, we were actually sad that he died.
Yeah.
And in the manner of that which he died.
Yeah, I think the manner in which he died really adds to that. Like, that was a disrespectful move, and now we feel bad for him even more. Also, just getting shot in the cheek was such a small but nice touch.
Yeah. And then to turn him over later. Because I think we get a semi close up of him too. I think they flip him over onto his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else you wanted to say about this?
No, definitely go see it.
Cool. What's our What's our new outro that Ryan has suggested we worked with? Let us see. All right. Well, all right. Yeah, even though this movie was or you know, bleh. Well, I'm really butchering. I'm really not making it cleaner than what we got with me stumbling into this. But even though this movie was a mushroomy edible,
Or yeah, or a strong edible.
and then you say this movie was dope.
But still, this movie was dope.
This is the first time doing it. And this was just like 2 hours ago. Because all movies are dope.
Oh,
Wait,
I,
we
well,
didn't
I
say
don't
our names. Shit. I'm Brian. If you want to suggest more underrated movies, go over to Instagram. The movies are dope. And your
and
name
I'm
is
Brad, and it is at BradF912. You can suggest movies to me. You can tell me how wrong I am on The Harder They Fall, but I don't think nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, no. No one would have listened. No one who's gonna say this was some piece of shit movie that the set all that's is gonna listen to however long we've talked about this spoilers. So you can tell him how wrong he is about Tag. please, please, somebody else love that movie. And we've already done the outro. Goodbye.